Hey guys, it's me again. Alright, we're going to look at dividing decimals. We're going to look at two pieces of dividing decimals. I'm going to look at with decimal numbers and whole numbers and decimal numbers and decimal numbers. Okay, so our standard's the same, MCC6, NS3. Okay, you should have this on your paper. I can divide with decimal numbers. Okay? So I can divide with decimal numbers. Alright, so the first piece we're going to look at is dividing decimals, by whole numbers. Alright, so dividing decimals by whole numbers. Alright, things we need to remember. Okay, I want you to place the decimal point in the quotient. Remember, the quotient is the answer to our division problem, directly above the decimal point in the dividend. Okay, so we're going to place the decimal point and the quotient directly above the decimal point in the dividend. Okay, the other thing we're going to do, you're just going to divide as you would with whole numbers, just like we did yesterday. We took a quiz on long division. Alright, so let's look. If we've got an example, right? 3 divided into 2 and 52 hundredths. Okay, there's my decimal point. Okay, 3 is my divisor, 2 and 52 hundredths is my dividend. So I'm going to put 3 into 2 and 52 hundredths. Okay, it says bring my decimal point straight up above the decimal point in the dividend. Okay, so now I'm going to just divide like I normally would. 3 won't go into 2, but it'll go into 25 8 times with 24. 25 minus 24 gives me 1. Bring down the 2. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. And 12 minus 12 is 0. Okay? So my answer, my quotient, is 84 hundredths. Okay, so I took 2 and 52 hundredths and divided it by 3 and got the quotient of 84 hundredths. Alright, so now let's look at dividing decimals by decimals. Dividing decimals by decimals. Alright. Alright, think about it this way. I've got the number 38 hundredths. Anytime you move a decimal point to the right one place, you're actually multiplying by 10. So if I moved my decimal point from 0.38 to between the 3 and the 8, so I'm changing it to 3.8, I've multiplied 0.38 times 10 and I've gotten 3.8. 3.8, 3.8. Okay, so each time I move my decimal point to the right one place, I'm multiplying by 10. So if I move my decimal point 2 places, I would be multiplying by 10, and 10 times 10 is 100. So 2 places I would move 100. I'm multiplying by 100. 3 places I would be multiplying by 1,000. Okay, so it's going by powers of 10. Okay, so this is what I want you to write. Each time the decimal point moves right, you are multiplying by a power of 10. Okay? So each time the decimal point moves right, you are multiplying by a power of 10. Discussion question. What would happen if we move the decimal point to the left? Alright, we're moving on right now though. When you divide a decimal by a decimal, make the divisor a whole number. By multiplying powers of 10. Okay, so we're going to go back to that point 38. If 38 hundredths was my divisor, I would need to move it 2 places to the right in order to make it a whole number, to make it 38. Okay, and anytime that I move my number, I move my decimal point, sorry, if I move my decimal point 2 places to the right in the divisor, I also have to move that decimal point the same distance in the dividend. Okay? Alright. Let's change the page. I'm running out of space. Alright. You multiply the dividend by the same power of 10 as you did the divisor. Okay, so you multiply the dividend by the same power of 10 you did the divisor, or move the decimal point the same number of places. I just want you to know what you're doing when you're moving that decimal point. And anytime I put this sign here, that just means number. Okay, it's just shorthand. Alright, so if you multiply the dividend by the same power of 10 as you did the divisor, which just means you're moving the decimal point the same number of places. If I move it 2 places outside, I move it 2 places inside the house. Okay, so let's look at an example. 1 2/10 divided into 3 6/10. Okay, I need to make my divisor a whole number. In order to do that, I have to move this decimal point 1 place to the right, which means I'm multiplying by power of 10. If I move it 1 place to the right outside the house, I need to move it 1 place to the right inside the house. Okay? So now and we got to bring our decimal point up. Okay, now I need to divide. 12 goes into 36, 3 times with 36, and that leaves me with 0. So my answer would be 3. Okay, but if I move it once out, I move it once in. If I move it 2 times out, I need to move it 2 times in. Okay, so let me see if I can get us some practice. Maybe. Alright, try this one. 42 3/10 divided by 12 hundredths. Okay, pause me for just a second, see if you can figure it out. Alright, so we took 12 tenths and we divided it into 42 3/10. I need to move my decimal point 2 places out. I need to move my decimal point 2 places in. And I need to add a 0. If you added a 0, good job. Alright, now we're doing that long division thing. Okay, 12 goes into 42. 3 times. 12 times 3 gives me 36. 42 minus 36 gives me 6. Bring down my 3. 12 goes into 63 5 times with 60, leaving me with 3. Bring down a 0. Okay, 12 goes into 30 2 times with 24. 30 minus 24 is 6. Bring down, we can always add another 0, bring down that 0. And 12 goes into 65 times. So our answer should be 352 5/10. Okay, you see how I brought down another 0 in order to give me a 60. As long as I'm working behind the decimal point, I can add as many zeros as I need in order to get an answer. Okay? Alright, we'll work on this some more tomorrow. I will see you later. Toodles.